if we can know that we are inheritors of the kingdom, that at the end of the novel, at the end of the movie, at the end of the play, we're all going to get the guy, get the girl, and we're going to end up happily. Everything's going to turn out happy. If we knew that, wouldn't it be just a big relief? I'd have people tell me, I'd go to see a movie or something. I'm going to go see a movie, and somebody would say, oh, I've seen that's really good. I said, well, what happens in the end? Oh, I'm not going to tell you because I want you to find out. And I go, no, just tell me now. You know, especially if it's a scary movie. No, what happens? Do they die? Do they get through? No, it all works out. Oh, good. Now I can relax. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. The play you're in, the movie that you're in, the novel that you're in, it's all going to work out. I just blew it for you. That's the truth. You're going to awaken to God, right? You're going to make it. It's all going to work out perfectly. Did you know that? It's all going to be wonderful, and you are going to be at peace. How about that? Now can you just live happy? You know, now can we just enjoy every day? So somebody leaves the poop by the trash can? So what? This is nothing in the big scheme of things, right? I can be happy knowing that I don't walk alone. I can step back and let him lead the way. It's not going to be as bad. And that to me is what this is saying. Have faith in this moment right now that he is with you. What can you fear when he is with you? There is nothing to fear. So this goes on to say, look at that 6th paragraph. Illusions may still appear to cling to you. These are the things we still have to do. Got to pay the rent. Got to have those little eyes looking back at me, so maybe I need to put some food in their bowls, you know. So illusions may still appear to cling to you, that you may reach others. It's kind of what it's saying is, you become an example. Like Taranae, your story empowers us. Chris, your story empowers us. Terry, your story empowers us. You know, Steve, your story empowers us. So we empower each other. So yes, it's good that we're still going through this. We can share the stories. Lois' story empowers us. Yet it says, these illusions that still may seem to cling to you, that you may reach others, but those illusions, it says, yet it has stepped back. It doesn't have the power like it had before. And it is not illusion that they hear you speak of, nor illusion that you bring their eyes to look on and their minds to grasp, nor can the truth, which walks ahead of you, speaks to them through illusions, for the road leads past illusions now, while on the way you call to them, that they may follow you. And to me, this is a great example of what Jesus did. You know, he was to be in the world, but not of it. He still had to function. That was a difficult time that he lived in, right? That was a tough time. Everybody goes, I wished I just lived during the time of Jesus. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's not a pleasant time. You would not have done well. And there's no Starbucks, you know, just not going to happen. And if you think taxes are bad today, that was really bad. So, you know, this idea that he had it easy, he did not. But what he did was he was walking with an activity of faith constantly. You know, just to get up and live through a day was the average person of that time's great achievement, that I can live today. We don't think about that. Am I going to have enough money? We might think of that. But I've got a house, I've got a place, I'm supported, everything's working out okay. I'm doing all right. But they didn't know that. So when he came along, when Jesus came along and said, hey, I know you think that life is tough, but your Father takes care of the lilies of the field and the birds. Don't you think he'll take care of you too? You know, it's going to do it. That was a big message of faith. And it is the same message today. Your problems are not bigger. They're different. I'm not going to diminish your problem. We all have problems. We all got stuff we got to deal with. Okay? Not going to diminish it. But it's the same solution no matter what your problems are. And so what this is saying is he answered the problem at the level that you, or that the people of the time, just like us, needed the help. But as he did it, what did he do? He not only answered their problems, but he lifted them at the same time. And that when we step back and let him lead the way, he not only answers your problems, Taranae, brings you a sense of peace, but he also lifts you so that that becomes a pinnacle story in your life, right? Mm-hmm. And now your story is a part of our story. And so and that's what this is saying, we get it by listening to you. So that's the power in this. That's what this is talking about. Then it goes on to say, all roads will lead to this one in the end. meaning we're all going to get to the same place. That's what I said. Come on, guys. The story's already been written. The play's done, the movie's over. And it's a great success. It's a great success. For sacrifice, it says, and deprivation are paths that lead nowhere. You don't have to deprive yourself. There's no sacrifice. Choices for defeat and aims that will remain impossible. All this steps back as truth comes forth and leads your brother on the ways, leads your brothers from the ways of death and sets them on the ways to happiness. Their suffering is but illusion. And they need a guide, this is us, to lead them out of it, for they mistake illusion for the truth. And this, as it says, such is salvation's call and nothing more. It asks that you accept the truth and let it go before you. So you have a mighty task. And when this says, by the way, that illusions step back and truth steps forward to lead your brothers from the ways of death and set them on the ways to happiness, this is not talking about physical death, by the way. This is talking about our dead attitudes. These are when we think we're alone. These are when we think fear is real. These are when we think attack gets us something. This is when we think judgment is a valuable tool in our problem-solving repertoire, which it is not. When we buy into attack, when we buy into judgment, when we buy into diminishing thinking about ourselves or others, we are dead to our reality. That's the dead thoughts. Because that does not breed joy. That does not breed happiness. To have to keep people under my thumb and in constant control by my judgments and anger and fear, how are you going to ever be happy? Because you're keeping someone else in prison. You know, it's not fulfilling for you, is it? Is it fun to make sure everybody's acting the way you think that they should act? And by golly, they never do they? Doggone it, those people never act the way they should act. And so what this is saying is that's dead thinking. It leads you away from this thought and sets you on the way to happiness. And besides that, there's suffering and your suffering. It says it's just an illusion. How quickly has your suffering passed? Have you had issues where you've been so depressed, felt so bad, and all of a sudden you turn on a TV show and you laugh and you go, oh, that's so funny. They go, oh, but what was I thinking about a minute ago? Oh, that depressing thought or that depressing attitude. You know, if we can move into a sense of joy, then it must have not been that serious. Now, we have to get back to it and keep that going, but it is not the truth about us. So it's saying, you know, kind of let it begin to see the silliness here and begin to see the joy that you can have. Their suffering is but an illusion. So they need someone to help lead them out, and that's what you can become. Such is salvation's call and nothing more, that you become, just an example, a way shower, that you are willing to step forward and let the judgments and the fear step back, that you are willing to step forward and let him lead the way. It asks that you accept the truth and let it go before you, lighting up the path of ransom from illusions. It is not a ransom with a price. There is no cost, but only gain. You lose nothing by letting truth step forth. I think we think we're going to lose something. If with all of our problems, what are we going to lose? I swear some people will not let go of all their problems because they think those problems make them who they are. What are you going to lose by letting go of your problems? Happiness? You know, I mean, we know people like that. We've all been there. It says illusions can but seem to hold in chains the Holy Son of God, but it is from illusions he is saved as they step back and as they step back and he finds himself again. We never know ourselves in the problems of the world, in the illusions of the world. We don't know who we are. And that's why we cling to these illusions. We think that these things make us who we are. But when we finally take these problems off, we see we're so much more than that. And we're so much lighter without all these problems holding us, chaining us to this world.